Ryan Jarrell here for Fight Bananas, and you know who my next guest is. Kai Stewart, who defended his featherweight strap via UD over Jimmy Rivera just a few short days ago, Kai. And what a big performance. I think it's safe to say that this has to be the biggest, the most important victory of your career so far. Am I right?
It absolutely was. Jimmy Rivera has tangled with some of the the names that I think are some of the toughest in the UFC. You know, Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan, Uriah Faber, Munoz. He's tangled with the best. Has gone decision with all these guys, so you know he's a tough guy because all those are killers. Those are finishers, and so I really wanted to put him out. I really wanted to be different than everybody else that beat him by decision. But I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I grew so much as a fighter with it.
Well, I have to imagine too. I mean, your confidence already was I think pretty darn good, but now it must be at an all-time high, right? Like beating a guy like Jimmy Rivera, doing it the way that you did, like are you kind of feeling yourself a little bit right now?
It takes a while for it to really set in after fights. I'm still at the point where it's business as usual. You know, I I've been doing a lot of mindset training with my mindset Mike, and we're bulletproofing our mentality, and I really do think I've done that because listen, I've won 4 world titles. I'm so grateful for it. I've achieved a childhood dreams. I'm headlining cards. I really am living the fighter dream, but I I don't have my Montana ranch with a creek running through it. Okay, the job's not finished, and as soon as my hands feel good, because I came out unscathed with no cuts, but as soon as my hands are back feeling better, we're gonna get right back to it because I it's an uphill battle for me. Now statistically, over half of my fights are title fights, and I've won all those. I am 4-3 title fight to normal fight. So we're uh it no easy fights, man.
Yeah.
No easy fights, and I got to get better. I got to evolve. I'm going to continue to show that I am paving the way for bare knuckle. I am making this sport up as I go. So a lot to do, but I am grateful and I'm so happy, and it's a relief off my shoulder because 6 more months of Kai being a world champ, baby.
Well, good for you, man. Pretty damn impressive. Impressive, if I do say so myself. I'm glad you mentioned Mindset Mike. I actually had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple months ago now, and I just love when athletes at the highest of level are paying attention to like the mental side of the game and really working on it. Can you just tell me kind of like how you have grown mentally since working with Mike?
Yeah. So at the top, like Jimmy Rivera, prime example, he was a tough nut to crack because I didn't by any means break him physically, but I think that I showed that my mindset was more bulletproof than his, and it was a tough nut to crack. He is an amazing fighter, amazing man. He protects our country. He with our being a police officer, you know, he puts his life on the line every day. So um, however, we you can break anybody. Anybody can be broken, and I think I mentally broke him in that fight. And you have to. It's a game of percentages. Like in the top with me, Jimmy Rivera, Howard Davis, Brian Durant, all these guys that we fought, we're all in the top. That's why we're fighting for the BKFC World Title. The mental game is like 90% of it. Let's be real. The mental game is 90% of it, but we never train it. And that's why I train it. And I have seen it help me outside of the game too. I'm being grateful for things, and it boils down to gratitude's the best attitude. You got like be grateful for where you're at. I'm making a conscious choice to wake up every day and fight for my money. Like this is my job now, and like I'm choosing it. Like that's a lot to be grateful for. A lot of people are working jobs that they don't want to work. And so I be grateful. It'll help you inside the ring, outside the ring, and it's helped my relationships with my girlfriend. Like it there's a lot to be grateful for
Yeah.
just by working on my mindset. So it's important, and any high level athlete needs to focus on that.
What was your game plan going in against Jimmy? Obviously, we know the guy's got a lot of power. He's very durable. Like, did you have a specific game plan for his style and what he brings to the squared circle here?
So I only watched him fight whenever he fought live. I didn't film study him, and that's very just typical for most of my opponents. Um, it's because I'm just working on my game. I don't need to worry about them. I knew that if Jimmy wanted to clinch me, I could out clinch him. In the fight though, we saw that I didn't clinch that much, and if I did, I just got some body shots off to get my strike average up, and that's just points on the board, and because I didn't need it, I the game plan was to move my feet, move my head, and pick him apart. And we really wanted to knock him out with some straight boxing because that's why I wasn't clinching the whole fight. But I got to show off my boxing skills. I was the longer fighter, and but it wasn't a game plan for him. I'm just trying to be the best BKFC fighter on planet Earth. And I'm trying to be one of the greatest to ever do it, past. I know it's a very new sport, but I want 20, 30 years down the road people saying Kai Stewart changed the game of bare knuckle. And so the game plan was to go in there and just do what we work on, and just let it fly. And it worked. And now for the next fight, you're going to see a totally different Kai Stewart again, because if you're not evolving, you're going to get your ass kicked. And, I live by that, in life, in sports, in anything. If you're not evolving, trying to be better, you're going to fall behind, and it's not going to be pretty.
So speaking of, evolution, obviously each fight is its own entity, and you got to kind of like adjust like in the middle of it. Like, did you have anything majorly that you really had to adjust to that you didn't expect from Jimmy in the fight?
So most shorter fighters compensate, like really try to overcompensate and stand tall. Jimmy embraces it, and he was like 4 inches shorter than I thought. Because once he gets in there, he bends his knees, he's flexing his core, his neck is tight. Like, Jimmy played the perfect fight. He did everything he could to win, and it that was the adjustment. Like, I was swinging and hitting the top of his head. I honestly believed that my hand was broken from hitting the top of his head, and it come to find out it wasn't. So I'm pissed off at myself for not letting it fly a little harder. But I had to adjust because I was not hitting him properly, and I was hurting myself. And that was definitely the biggest adjustment I had to make. You could tell in the fight, in the beginning stage of the fight, I'm working on my mentality. My mentality is not perfect. I started with some frantic, fun, nervous energy, and we adjusted that by the like middle, almost end of second round, and then I found my flow state, and then it was all me the rest of the fight. But yeah, he was. I swear he was like 5 foot nothing in there by the time that he got into his stance, and like hats off to him, because that shit hurts.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's a really good point too, because you're right. He does fight small like that, and it makes it more challenging for taller, longer guys to really connect and figure out the range. In MMA in particular, you see a lot of really crazy judging decisions. But I mean, I think it was clear you were going to win this fight. But did you have like any like were you guessing at all? Or you like, man, I don't know. Like, what was your mindset before like the judges actually rendered their decision?
I knew I did enough. I knew that the cut man didn't work on any cuts, and I saw Jimmy's face, and damage is a criteria of judging. So I knew I had it won. I honestly, because in the fight, I'm very like I'm very conservative with my numbers. Um, in the corner, now watching the fight back, I can totally see a 5 round sweep. I totally see it. But in the fight, I was telling myself at the start of the third round, you're down 0-2 is what I told myself. And but watching it back, it was definitely a 5 round win. So I definitely, whenever they said 50-45, I was like, wow, like, damn. But watching the fight back, I totally, totally agreed with it.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough, man. Did you talk with Jimmy afterwards? Did you guys like have any real dialogue?
No, not really. Just what we saw in the ring.
Mhm.
He said, "Damn, man. Yep, they're right. You're one of the best. You did it. Like, good job." So there's definitely a moment in there, and afterwards, like I made a nice post about Jimmy, because I do mean it. I do think I look up to him as a fighter. He's a family man. He has a beautiful family back home, and it's you know I hope whatever he does in his life, I hope to see him back in the squared circle. I hope, because he's a dog and he's still got it. He's the same age as the current number one contender in my weight division. So people that were saying, "Oh, you're fighting an old man," I just don't see it. So I just hope whatever he does it happily. So hats off to him.
Do you think there's any chance that you're going to rematch him down the line? I mean, I think he'd have to get another couple big wins, but is that something that you think's a possibility?
I think that the featherweight division currently in BKFC needs some work. Nobody is fighting each other, and I think if Jimmy goes out there and shows that he still wants to be here and he wants to fight somebody in the top five, because everybody at 145 refuses top five fights, and that's why another 145-pound fight doesn't interest me, because there's no true number one contender. So Jimmy is right there with a win. It would take one top five win really to get back in there. I do think that I'm going to keep evolving, and I do think that I would finish him if we fought again. But he's, like I said, there. Everybody in the 145 division is one top five win away, because nobody, and I know some behind the scenes stuff. They're refusing the 145-pound top five fights. So the 145 division needs to just listen to the king, do as you're told, and earn your shot. So let's go.
Okay, I love it, man. Kai, what was it like fighting in Montana? This event, just the crowd, the energy. How much did that kind of get you juiced up?
You can't treat events differently than one another, but whenever I stepped out and saw that packed Metra, I couldn't help but put a smile on my face and enjoy the moment, because there for a while they straight up told us we're not going back to Montana, we're not doing it. It was like this and that. But after putting the beat down on Duran in his hometown in Hollywood, Florida, I definitely earned that, and they came back, and I bet you they come back to Montana again, because we sold it out. We did exactly what we were told to do. And Montana is one of the rowdiest crowds for bare knuckles. So I would love to do it again. And like I said, I can't put an event on a pedestal because they're all the same. Once we step into the squared circle, the job remains the same. But I love I love Montana. I love the Montana people. I love the Montana fan base supporting me. It's taken a while. Sometimes I have some boos out there, but this time it was pretty unanimous that they love to see the true Montana champion.
What's your popularity like there, or just in general, man? Like, are you getting noticed a lot more? Like, if you go to the grocery store, are people asking for pictures? What has that been like? The evolution of your popularity rise.
It definitely gets more and more and more, and it starts to happen in different cities. So Great Falls, like I go anywhere, it's crazy. Billings is getting to the point where if I go out there, it's pretty crazy. And then even in Missoula, I got stopped at the grocery store. Yeah, not a grocery store. We had to go buy a quick outfit, and somebody asked for a picture. So it was super cool. And ever since O'Malley lost and he refuses to just represent Montana, he everybody's starting to be put on notice that King Kai is that guy. And I appreciate that. I love that, because it's always been me and O'Malley's shadow, because they like bare knuckles just so new. But now with McGregor coming on board, I'm 7-0 with 4 title defenses, didn't lose my belt. Like, I'm becoming Montana's guy, and I'm gonna represent Montana till I'm way up there in the moon. So we're gonna get the job done, and we're gonna do it Montana style every single time.
Now, are you a Yellowstone fan?
I did like the show. I did not like what it did to Montana. I brought a lot of out of state money, and it's made it very, very unaffordable for Montanans. But I thought it was a very, very good show. They did a really good job with it. My mom is actually a driver for the movies right now, and she's they're working on the set of 1923, I believe it is, which is a spinoff of
Oh yeah.
Yellowstone.
hmm
So it's pretty cool. A couple of the big actors followed me on Instagram after running into my mom, and of course, my mom she's one of my biggest fans, and so she's probably had a Kai Stewart shirt on, just talking. Yeah, my son's in the BKFC. So yeah, so some of those actors are noticing me as well now too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely dope, man. With your future in the sport, obviously, man, like this is a tough sport. It's a tough way to make a living. The thing about you is you're elusive. Your speed is, I feel like, the thing that is differentiating you from, a lot of the other guys that fight bare knuckle. Do you feel like that's just going to give you more longevity in the sport, where you'll be able to hang around and fight more than like the average guy?
Yeah, I'm just right outside the fight and I didn't get no cuts. I'm looking good, a couple bruises. That's the biggest thing. I just went through a 5 round war. It felt like a war in those first 2 rounds, but watching it back, it really was an awesome performance. But I just went through that fight, no cuts, and I'm grateful for that. And yeah, because that's been my little bit worry was scar tissue. I did have this dream of going back, trying to make it to the UFC, but I'm gonna get a crossover fight or something. I'm the king of the BKFC, so I'm definitely here to stay. And bare knuckle is what I want to do. And so being able to do this, and I have a lot of secrets that I cannot give out, but I'm gonna like I said, I'm changing every part of this game, and even down to not getting cut in a 5 round fight. Like pretty cool, pretty
Yeah,
fun.
definitely, man. So I got a little bit of a tough question, and I want to be clear. Like, I don't think this, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that do. Like, I was at the gym this morning. I was in the sauna, and there's a couple of guys that were there that don't know like what I do, and I, talk to guys like you and whatnot. They were talking about BKFC and the UFC, and they were saying like, oh, guys that fight BKFC, they only do that because they couldn't make it in MMA, and that's you got all these guys that come from the UFC at the end of their careers and everything. Do you agree with that? And do you think that if that is the case, that it's just going to change at some point real soon, and people are going to understand, that BKFC is its own thing and it's just going to continue to surge in popularity?
Well, that's exactly why King Kai, the man with many nicknames, they just keep adding it on. I am BKFC 2.0. Okay. And those were bare knuckles words, not my words, bare knuckles words. And what this means is we had Mike Perry. He was that 1.0 ex UFC guy. He was at the tail end of his career. He blossomed in bare knuckle, which is amazing, but he definitely was at the end of his career. Jimmy Rivera, Jeremy Stevens, all these guys. I wouldn't even say Jimmy is at the end of his career. He's still 34, and that was an amazing fight he put on. But like Jeremy Stevens, like he's definitely uh is on his way out. But then there's me. I pro debuted in BKFC. My pro MMA fight was my third professional fight. Okay. So I am paving the way for us young guys and paving the way for BKFC, proving that, hey, yeah, send those ex UFC guys over. I can prove that I can be there, but I'm choosing to be in bare knuckle because bare knuckle is the most exciting and most violent sport on planet Earth. And it's going to be, yeah, so this is also a good thing. UFC, bare knuckle, totally different, completely different. We can coexist. The UFC is amazing. I'm a wrestler. So trust me, even boring fights, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome grappling. This is awesome. But bare knuckle brings a different level of excitement. You don't get those grappling exchanges, but it's also boxing rule set. You don't have that, which sets us apart from all these other MMA promotions that say, "Oh, we're second behind the UFC." No, you're not. You're way down here because you're the same exact product. You're never going to be as big as the UFC. Bare knuckle will. We just need time. We're what, six? I think 6 years deep. 6 years deep is so new for where we are right now, and I'm so grateful to be a small town Montana kid being able to pave the way and prove that elite level athletes can do this. And I'm an elite level athlete, especially with the training that I do with DL Training Systems, Coach Dylan Lemery. It's the DL difference. And we saw that. My cardio is insane. My strength is getting better. My speed is getting better. And yeah, bare knuckle's definitely here to stay. And it's just going to take more time for people to believe, but we're right there.
What a great answer, man. Does it piss you off when you hear that kind of stuff, though? Does it give you a chip on your shoulder as the champion?
I wouldn't say it pisses me off, but it definitely makes me want to prove that I am an elite level athlete. I do I work my butt off, I know that, bare knuckle can't pay me NFL money, NBA money, even UFC money right now. But I'm proving that this can be done at a high level We don't have to look like backyard brawlers. We can look like we know what we're doing. And I do know what I'm doing. I'm BKFC 2.0. I'm BKFC homegrown, and I'm going to take this to the moon. I'm going to be that guy that puts bare knuckle into mainstream media because I'm fun outside of the bare knuckle. I get the job done inside the ring. I I look great with my mustache. My mustache is the best in the game. So just give us time. Give us time. Give me time to grow because I'm only 24, man. I'm only 24 and I won my first belt at 22 and we're going to keep winning. We're going to
Yeah.
keep doing it.
That is an impressive mustache, I must say. I wish I could grow one like that, but it's just not in the cards for me. Conor McGregor, we know what he does for BKFC, the popularity, the cachet that he brings to the organization. If you could be the matchmaker for BKFC, who would you have him fight with this first BKFC fight? Because you know it's going to happen eventually. Who do you think it should be?
Opportunities are endless there. I would love to see us get Nate Diaz over. And listen, I am a fan of Nate Diaz, but like Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is the only person I've ever had it was a gift. I did not go out of my way to buy a poster of another person, but I got a gift from one of my coaches, and it's the Conor McGregor holding the flag, and it's super special to me to have him as my boss now. And I would love, but as a fan, as a matchmaker in terms of what would blow up the internet, I think we see Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, stand and bang.
I love it, man. What's your relationship like with Conor? Have you had a lot of dialogue with him?
Yeah, we have, and it's brief. Connor's a busy man, but he believes in what I'm doing, and I believe in what he's doing with the sport. I and just there is a true respect there though, and that's amazing. And not to mention Sturgis, he smoked my strain Legend OG by Native grown in Montana, 35%, best stuff around. Anyway, he smoked that with me. I knocked back a foraged Irish stout with him and Sturgis. We walked around, and yeah, it's great, and I can't wait to just keep putting on, doing my job. And Conor McGregor is going to be a great mentor for myself, but every fighter in the BKFC. I really hope that people get a chance to ask questions and say and get to where we need to be, because as fighters, there's so much we can learn from Conor, and it's going to be really fun. And there has been quite a few conversations, and it's life is going to be a roller coaster here. Like things are changing, and I'm leading the pack.
Yeah, man, life is good. There's no doubt about that. You said earlier, Kai, that you're going to be the champ for the next 6 months. So that leads me to believe that your next fight will be 6 months from now. Where do you think that might be? Who will the opponent be? Do you have anyone that you feel like makes the most sense?
Well, I'm willing to fight sooner. I do want to get through the holidays and be able to eat Thanksgiving and Christmas, because this is actually the first year that me and my girlfriend, since getting together 3 years ago, one of us has always been cutting weight. She fights as well, so I definitely want to just I can start a fight camp January 2nd, and we can go from there. And but statistically speaking, I've fought every 6 months. This last one was 5 months, so there has not been any conversations. I would love to fight maybe the UK featherweight champion or the UK or the Thailand featherweight champion. I think they should both fight each other. I'm a champion. Champions get 6 months off. Those guys can fight and then see who a real number one contender is. Like I said, uh, we have a current number one contender that's literally on his knees begging for a fight, but he just fought a 1-1 guy and he struggled doing it. He found his rhythm, and it turned it. He did TKO the guy, but that guy had no business being in there with the number one contender as a 1-1 fighter, and that's not how you earn a title shot. I've had 5 top 5 fights in a row. It's time to put some respect on the division and make them fight. So I want to make this a true world title, and they did it with Dave Mundell. He fought a UK guy. I'm willing to fight overseas. I'm willing to fight. I really am willing to fight anyone though, and I've never said no to a fight. So just whatever comes to the table, I'm going to say yes to, as long as, don't make dollars, don't make sense. So whatever's going to pay me the most and whatever's going to be the most exciting, because I need a needle moving fight. And I think an overseas fight is the needle moving fight. I'm that guy. Let's go worldwide.
I love you said that. So last thing for me before we get out of here today, Kai, you want a needle moving fight. We've talked before about, you wanting to fight Sean O'Malley. I think each win that you get makes that more likely to happen. How much more likely is it now versus before the Jimmy Rivera fight? And is there a chance that maybe you're going to fight Ryan Garcia down the line as well? Because I know that's been rumored.
Well, Ryan Garcia, I don't know, because I've been just so out of the loop. I hope that he is done with gloved boxing, because then that makes that fight really make sense. I think that's a needle moving fight, and he's a straight boxer. He'd have absolutely no idea how to deal with me, and I would put the hammer down on him. Sean O'Malley, I do think that I can get that fight. He's probably going to try to get another win in the UFC. I don't see anybody in the top 10 that he can beat, because now there's a perfect blueprint and everybody is wrestlers in his division. His only chance is, I think, Sandhagen, who might not wrestle him because he likes to have fun on the feet. But outside of that fight, I think he gets his ass kicked and he's going to be begging me for the fight. But with Conor McGregor, I think that we can make that fight happen. We just need a little bit more time. And like I said, if O'Malley loses again, he's going to be begging for a fight. Um, I posted yesterday, give me the toughest fight possible. And I tagged Sean O'Malley, Ryan Garcia, and Cody Garbrandt. And Cody Garbrandt gave me that in the DMs. He sent two emojis, but he replied. And, he's definitely going to be on the chopping block, but he has dynamite in his hands. He is built for bare knuckle. That fight excites me so much. Like, that would bring the absolute killer and the absolute best out of me. And he's getting there too. So really anybody, I think the needle moving fight isn't anybody in the 155 the 145 division. I either need another belt or I need a super fight. However, Dave Feldman has blossomed BKFC into what it is. Bare Knuckle is doing amazing things, and I know that he's going to have a great plan for me. All I have to do is my job, and as long as I do my job, he's going to continue to have a plan for me. And I know it's going to be an uphill battle. He said it himself. He goes, "Listen, man, yeah, he won this was back." And he said, "Listen, man, it's an uphill battle. This is not going to be easy for him because he won his belt so early in the career, but we'll see if he can do it. But guess what? I'm doing it, and I'm not afraid. Like, I used to be a scared kid doing this sport. I'm not afraid of this sport no more. I'm not the kid that hasn't been in street fights. I've never been in a street fight outside the ring or cage, but I'm 7-0 in bare knuckle boxing. So looks like I'm undefeated in street fights. So yeah, I just got to keep doing my job, and those bigger fights are coming, and soon they're going to be asking me for the fight. So I just got to be patient, keep winning, but most importantly, keep having fun and being grateful for where I'm at, because it can be taken from me at any moment.
Yeah, I love it, man. Great talking to you again, and congrats on the title defense. Hopefully, we can chat again at some point soon. Before we do sign off here today, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, I want to plug my girlfriend, Dakota Rough Rhodes. She just fought to a draw on the Bare Knuckle Prospect Series. You had to see the fight. It's just how boxing was scored, which is why it was a draw. She got caught with something super silly in the first 10 seconds, and she even caught David Feldman's attention. David Feldman said, "Hey, Kai, I know you're listening right now." I was watching a podcast. "Hey, Kai, I know you're listening. I think your girlfriend can beat you." But she's amazing, and I believe that whatever sport she decides to do, whatever form of combat sport she's going to do, she's going to be a star as well. As a bare knuckle king, I'm a little biased. However, I'm not going to force that. I'm not going to push the issue too much. If they offer her a contract, though, I'm going to say, hey, it's an opportunity. Then my biggest sponsors, man, Harvey Singh, Native Grown, Silverleaf, Lithia, Teriyaki Madness. Thank you guys so much. I can't be where I'm at without you. I'm a small town kid. And then for the fans, like, I don't know. I honestly do not know what's next, but it's going to be big because everything that I do from here on out is big. I'm that guy. I'm BKFC 2.0, and I'm taking it to the moon and I'm changing the game.